Hi, I'm Jennylyn, creator of Fusion Mineral Paint. Today we are taking this piece that we grabbed from Habitat for Humanity, saving it from the landfill and giving it a whole new look. We're gonna go for a verdigris rust look with some copper using this beautiful green color from Alchemy. This color is called Juniper. So excited because it's so vibrant and fun. I'm gonna show you how easy it is to transform this outdated piece and make it something absolutely beautiful. First things first, this piece has seen better days for sure. It is a mess, it's dirty. We're gonna wanna clean it using our TSP alternative. It's an organic degreaser. Mix 2 cupfuls of this into a liter of water, and you're gonna have more than enough to do quite a few pieces of furniture with just this one bottle. You're gonna wash down your surface. It's gonna help get rid of dirt and grease and grime. And then on this piece in particular, there is some stickers. So I wanted to remove that with our odorless solvent. Anything that's really sticky or waxy, you're gonna use this product, and then after come back with your TSP just to clean that area wherever you use the solvent on, just to make sure that it's all cleaned away. One thing to note, there are some open wood areas here where the veneer has peeled up. So it's really important that if you use your TSP alternative with water, that you really give this a whole day to dry, because if that wood soaks in the water, the paint is not gonna want to adhere to that. So if you have any broken veneer and you're putting water on your surface, please make sure you give it lots of time to dry before painting. So I just finished cleaning the piece and I'm ready to get started with Juniper. Loving this color, so fun. I'm using my Stallmeister brush and I'm just dipping in a little bit. I don't like to put too much paint on the brush to overload it, but you do have a lot of open time with this paint, so you can really work it. All right, really such a stunning color, so fun. I know that my paint is adhering wonderfully when I don't see any paint sort of separating from the surface. If you ever notice that, you'll definitely want to make sure that you spend a little more time prepping, cleaning that surface, but we definitely did a good job with that. And then you want to go end to end once your paint is on there. All right, the first coat is looking really good. Probably going to need about 2 coats to get really solid coverage on this. Not too bad. I see a little bit of paint buildup, so I can thin that out a little bit. Take off some of the excess paint there. That's usually why you have brush strokes. There's a little too much paint. You can kind of put it back into your container, or if you're using another clean container, you can put it on there. All right, looking good. A little tip, I always like to take my drawers out when I'm painting them. For one, it's too difficult to paint with them in. You get a much easier coverage when you're painting horizontally. So put a drop cloth down and paint them like that. I put 2 coats on, it's now dried. What I'm gonna do is take a couple of different colors and give it a really grungy effect and get that verdigris. So we're gonna be having a lot of fun with some metallic copper that's gonna be dripping down with the mister. And then I've grabbed 3 different colors here. We've got Onyx, Amber, and Sienna in the Alchemy line. And these are great colors that when I blend them together, I'm kind of gonna get like a rustic sort of brown color. And I'm just gonna have fun playing with them. So this is the really artistic fun side of things. Now, to give you a little sneak peek preview of what it's gonna look like, we're going for something along these lines here. So at the bottom, we're gonna have this sort of really dark color, and then we're gonna have the green at the top. We get little bits of copper shining through here, and some of the drips running through. I promise you, it's a lot easier than you think to do it, so follow along. All right, I'm gonna grab the different colors and just start to blend them together. I'm doing a little pouncing. You're gonna have a little bit of the green coming through in some of the spots. Doesn't need to be perfect. I actually don't want it to be perfect. I wanna have a little bit shining through. I'm gonna get the legs at the bottom. And you can use your darkest color, maybe a little bit more at the bottom. And then you can go a little bit lighter on the way up. could also do some swirling. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. And then you could do, you know, a little bit of texture and blending. Looks like a mini disaster, and then it'll look really nice after. This is the artistic fun stuff. So I've had fun here blending a couple of the colors and then using the water mister to really let them mix together and pull off of that green. So you could really see like it's been weathered and sitting outside for years and years and having that aged look. And what I did was I mixed the red and the yellow and the black together, and it created sort of like a brownish sort of grungy color. And I stippled it on the whole piece and then started to use the water mister to really get into the spaces. And you see some of the detail where it's been running down. It looks really great. If you run it from the top to the bottom, you get more of the green color showing, and then it pulls down onto the dark. I want to keep the bottom pretty dark. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more of the green on the top, maybe a little bit of white, and I'm going to pull in another metallic, the vintage gold, just to really give it a little bit more oomph and see how that looks. This is really a creative process. There's no right or wrong way to go about it, and you just kind of play with it and have fun. And it's only paint. So if at the end of the day you don't like it, you can always paint over it. And I'm pretty fortunate that I have a bunch of different colors and products at my disposal, so I'm just gonna start throwing some more colors on and sort of seeing how that looks. When we first saw this piece, we did notice a fair bit of water damage on the top of this dresser, which led to a lot of the dresser sort of lifting up, a lot of these little bubbly areas. So to kind of mimic that, we're actually going to take advantage of this situation and make it look like hammered metal with the copper. So I'm going to use the copper and sort of drag it across and just kind of highlight those areas, and it should kind of have a really cool effect. So I'm pouring on a paper plate so that I can have a little bit to work with in terms of dabbing off the excess. So I've got this applicator sponge, and we typically use this for applying Tough Coat, but what I can do is also use it on here. And then I'm just wiping the excess off, so I actually don't want to put too much onto the surface. The paper plate kind of absorbs it. You can use paper towel as well or something like that. All right, so I think we'll be ready. For this piece, I found some hardware that I thought would work really well, especially because it had a lot of detailing, but the color just didn't work. So this is wood, and I'm taking the copper metallic, and I'm gonna paint it all over, get it all into the grooves. It's great because you can use our paint not only on wood, but also on metal. So if you've got either pre-existing hardware, you can simply just refinish it, or you can go out and buy something that you think could work and paint it if you need it to match. All right, so you're gonna wanna let this dry for about 20 minutes. There you go, it looks super, super pretty. Very beautiful. So let that dry for about 20 minutes. Now the copper has dried, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take the juniper. I'm gonna add just a little bit of water in with the juniper, and I'm going to kind of do like a little wash over top of the copper. I'm gonna add just a little touch of the black in there, because I don't want it to look too vibrant and too new. And I'm gonna set it all along, and then I'm gonna take the excess off and leave so that you can actually see some of that copper come through. So this looks a little bit aged, and especially in all these creases here, you've really got that darker sort of green color with that little bit of black coming through. So let that dry, and then I can go ahead and put them on the piece.